Hello and welcome back to JW's Dugout. John here. Hope everyone is having a great day. So today I want to talk about something that has been on my mind from a hobby perspective, and it's really become a big part of my collecting lately. I know I mentioned it in a previous video. I'll have a longer video probably toward the end of this month as we head into the new year, talking about some of my hobby goals for 2026, moving into the new year. But right now, let's zero in on one of them, and that's set building. And it's truly my newest obsession in the hobby. I seem to pick up a new obsession on a weekly basis when it comes to vintage baseball card collecting. But really over the past couple months, I've really come to realize how much joy I get from going back to the basics of strictly card collecting, raw cards, um, you know, checking numbers off of a checklist and not necessarily chasing the big autos and not stressing over slabs. Although, don't get me wrong, I'm still doing that. I'm still, grabbing slabs. I'm still, tracking down Hall of Fame autos off my checklist, especially as I inch towards some of the bigger names. But, just sitting down with a simple binder like this, flipping through pages, adding cards one at a time, commons, checklists, guys with goofy poses, guys who had cups of coffee in the big leagues, um, you know, just flipping through the golden era of baseball card collecting, stuff that's really doing it for me right now, real vintage, and it's the kind of cardboard that smells old in the best possible way. And I'm having more fun with this than I've had in a long time. And I know a lot of people in the hobby, you see a lot of videos out there of people who are either dipping their toes into set building, or a guy like baseball collector Mike Moynihan, who is going all in on completing the sets and having a nice solid representation of basically the history of Topps in his new card room. And I love it. I love everything about it. So of course there's a little motivation there. It seems like Mike is always motivating me. I definitely look up to him a lot from a collecting standpoint. And you see some other collectors out there as well who are really getting into set building. A guy who's really helped me out, Jake at Legends Never Die, he's helped me, put some of the pieces together here, and I'll probably be going back to that well a number of times as I work through some of these sets. But for this video, I'll swing the camera around in a second here. It won't be too long of a video because I don't have a ton to show off yet. But I want to just talk about a couple different sets that I'm in the process of building out and how I'm going about doing it. And yes, it's chaotic, and yes, it's not necessarily cheap, but it provides a different aspect of the hobby than just collecting, Hall of Fame vintage cards and slabs and chasing after Hall of Fame autos, which, don't get me wrong, that is still my focus. That's still a major part of my collection. But for now, this is something that's really got me excited. So let's flip the camera around and let's just talk a little bit about some of the sets that I have decided to go after. All right, guys. So when looking at the sets that I wanted to go after, I thought really hard about it. I thought about what sets have made an impact on my collecting habits, and ones that I think are, one, affordable, realistically affordable to complete, one that represent baseball card history, and one that kind of satisfy the era that I love the most, and that's the 50s and the late 40s, but really the 50s, the heyday of Hank Aaron especially stepping into the major leagues, Jackie Robinson playing at full force, just so many great players from that era, and I really wanted it to be represented in my collection, outside of just strictly slabs. So the spoiler alert, the four sets that I am gonna end up going after, some that I hardly have any cards, others that I've actually made a significant dent. One is the 1954 Topps set, the 1956 Topps set, the 1957 Topps set, and the 1958 Topps set. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to show you what I have so far. And it's not a lot. I'll be completely honest with you. For the bulk of my vintage collecting days, I've spent accumulating slabs, going after player runs, not necessarily picking up a ton of commons, if you will. So, for instance, and let me pull up my binder here. I'm going to show off really quick where I'm at with the 54 and the 56 in particular. I have a lot of work to do. And so for the 1954 set, I actually only have 3 commons, believe it or not. It's just, it's a set that I haven't, it's funny, I have the 1994 Archives anniversary set that represents this. I have almost that complete set. And I always thought to myself, that kind of satisfies things. But it really doesn't, because I want to go after these sets. So I've got Johnny Antonelli, of course, from Rochester. I have almost his entire player run. Preacher Rowe and Frank Smith. And that's it as far as commons go. And even from a graded perspective, the only 1954 Topps card that I have, and this is just kind of shocking to me, guys, given how many vintage cards I have, is the 1954 Topps Phil Rizzuto. And this is in a relatively low grade 2, but still just a beautiful card. I don't know if I've ever actually showed this card off on the channel. But yeah, it's I'll put Rizzuto right over here. There's just something about the 54 set that I just really, really love. I love, the background image and then the action shot up front, the autograph. Some of these sets from the 50s are kind of cut from the same cloth, but the back too, there's something just very iconic about the back. One of my goals for 2026 is, of course, to pick up the 1954 Topps Hank Aaron rookie. That is going to happen for sure. I love the little comic strip. I love the way that they've positioned the bio and the stats, and everything just feels so nostalgic. And I'm super happy to go after this set. I haven't, like I said, I just haven't made much of a dent at all. One set that I have made somewhat of a dent, not so much from commons, but from Hall of Fame perspectives, is the 1956 Topps set. And we'll run through some of these. I've got Danny O'Connell, Gene Conley, Bill Bruton, Johnny Padres, Johnny Antonelli, of course, and Hall of Famer Larry Doby. And that's it as far as raw cards go for 1956 Topps. And I know you're thinking, you want to build a set. You really haven't done much. I've done a lot more for 1957 Topps and 1958 Topps. But I have done quite a bit. And let me pull this out real quick. I have made a decent run at... of course, now I'm dropping stuff. Let me move this binder out of the way real quick without knocking anything over. Guys, I'm Butterfingers over here. Okay, so what I have done for 1956 Topps is the Hall of Famers. So the 1956 Topps set is 340 cards, and my Hall of Famers, the run that I've created, is something I'm pretty proud of. I've got the Bob Feller in an SGC 4.5, just an absolutely gorgeous card. I've got the Gil Hodges in a PSA 3. The Robin Roberts in a PSA 4. I love this. Him getting into the windup. Just a great, great shot of Hall of Fame pitcher. I've got the Hoyt Wilhelm in a PSA 3. And like I said, guys, I don't need high-grade cards. I like the fact that they're protected in the case, and for me, it's all about the color pop on this. 56 Topps is just such a beautiful set. This Mini Minoso in an SGC2, I realize that the card isn't, centered by any means, but the color on it is wonderful. It truly pops. I love Mini Minoso. George Kell, I bought this one on eBay. I think I've told the story multiple times from Matt over at Straight Race Cards. And that's actually how I first connected with Matt. So this card actually definitely holds a special meaning for me. Another great Hall of Fame third baseman. And then you've got Roy Campanella in a PSA 3. Love that one. How about a beautiful Harmon Killebrew in a old label PSA 5. Love this one. It's beautiful. All right, we're going to save that one for last. We've got the Nellie Fox in an SGC 4. Another one where the color just right in your face, pops. Love it. And then we have, of course, this may, in fact, next to the Hank Aaron 1954 Topps rookie card that I don't have yet. This may be one of my all-time favorite cards, the Jackie Robinson 56. And this is in a very reasonable PSA 2. Obviously, some corner issue, but man, I love this card. Still has the eBay authentication. I got to take it out of this, but love it, love it. And then, of course, we've got to end on the Hank Aaron, the PSA 4 Hank Aaron. This is beautiful. I'm not seeing any issues with any of the colors. Of course, you've got the story of who's in the background there. We all know. Love it. Okay, so that's where I'm at currently in the 1956 Topps run. Again, I've got a ways to go, but my plan with all of this is anytime that I am able to go to the local card show, I want to make it a point to spend some time in the common boxes. We've got a couple card shows, or card stores rather, in the Atlanta area that really do a good job of stocking commons at an affordable price from these sets. So really, really excited to move things further along. All right, let's take a quick look at 1957 and 1958 before we wrap up the video. Let me make sure I grab the right binder. If you bear with me for 2 seconds here. All right. So first I'll show you the commons that I have for 1957 Topps, and then we will go into some of the slabbed cards that I have as well. So let's just make some room real quick. Okay, so I have actually positioned these best I can so that I know what holes I need to fill. But I've got a stack coming here very soon of 1957 Topps that will definitely fill some of these holes. I have picked up a bulk of the commons at a local show here, as well as a couple card stores. And then also bought a stack from Jake over at Legends Never Die. He's helped me out with this set quite a bit. I'll just flip through it. I'll call out some of the names. We won't go through everything. We'll just bring the camera up a little bit. There's Sherm Lawler. I love the look of these cards. You can see there's quite a few empty spaces, but so the 1957 Topps set has 407 cards, and it's such a clean, simple set. There's Clem Labine. Of course, this is a pretty meaningful set because it's the last year of the Brooklyn Dodgers as well, and of course the Braves, the Milwaukee Braves, World Series champs. There's Ray Crone. Jimmy Pearsall, that's a great card right there. Just flip through these real quick. I've got Hank Thompson. Art Ditmer. Andy Pafko. Try to run through these pretty quick. There's Vic Power, a couple Braves, and Del Rice and Felix Mattia. Mantilla, sorry. All right. Bobby Thompson. Try to run through these because, again, a lot of holes. Ernie Johnson. Got the White Sox team card. Rene Valdez. I'm sorry, I just said Ernie Johnson, sorry. And that is where I'm at as far as commons. So not a ton of commons. There's some other vintage in the back of this. But I have made somewhat of a dent when it comes to graded Hall of Famers. I know some of these I've shown off recently. I've really started to pick up some of the Hall of Famers in graded form. The PSA 6 Bob Lemon, I showed that one off in a pickup video a little while ago. Warren Spahn in an SGC 4. Richie Ashburn in an SGC 5. Love that card. Love that pose. Duke Snider in a PSA 4. And then two of my favorites that I currently own from the set, and that's the 1957 Topps Pee Wee Reese in an SGC 4. Love that. Love him fielding the ground ball there. And then got to end it with a Hank Aaron. The 1957 Topps Hank Aaron. The reverse image. I love it. Man, do I love this card. So we're getting there. And that's the thing. I'm not going to, it's not a race. It's a marathon. It's a journey. I'm not going to get every single card right away. But this is something that is just the fun part of hunting down all of these cards. And really excited to continue my journey on it. We'll end things with the 1958 Topps set. So let me grab that other binder real quick. And out of the 4 sets that I'm going after, this for sure is the one that I'm furthest along on. I've made quite a dent in commons. And as you see, this binder is rather colorful. It's part of the 1958 Topps appeal to me. 494 cards. Last I checked, I think I'm over 80 cards, give or take. And the Hall of Fame list I've picked up has really kind of helped me along to get to that number. So we'll just kind of run through things here. There's a nice Bob Lemon, Lou Burdett, great pitcher. Just fly through these. Billy Pierce was a great player. Del Rice. We've got Roy Face, Ernie Johnson. Frank Torrey. Johnny Logan. Johnny Padres up there. Wes Covington. Johnny Antonelli. There's my guy. Vic Wertz. Great hitter. Roger Craig. Dodgers pitcher. Yeah, we're going to see some emptiness here. There's an Andy Pafko coming up. Try to run through these real quick. Got a Jimmy Pearsall up top. Clem Labine. Tito Francona. Let's try to flip ahead real quick. Got beautiful Vic Power, Carl Furillo, Bobby Thompson, Larry Doby. I love that Larry Doby. It's a beautiful card. And then we have, Eddie Matthews. I've had that card since I was probably about 8 years old. I think that was actually, believe it or not, one of my first eBay purchases way back in the day as a kid. And then you've got the Sport Magazine 58 All-Star selections. I love these cards as well. You'll see some of those in my graded Hall of Fame run that I'll show off. But we've got Nellie Fox, Raw, Eddie Matthews, Louis Aparicio, and Warren Spahn. And that's it as far as what's in the binder. The other thing that, I've kind of gotten the idea from some of the guys who are collecting sets currently, including Mike, is taking, scans of the graded cards and putting them in the binder, printing them out, cutting them up, putting them in the binder, just so you have representation. And I like that idea, and I think I'm going to probably take that route as well. But then as far as the graded cards, we'll run through those real quick because there are actually quite a few iconic cards in my graded collection for 58 Topps. So we've got the 1958 Topps Curt Flood in a PSA 3. This is a beautiful looking 3. Such an important figure in baseball history. I've got the 1958 Topps Mickey Mantle All-Star in a 2.5. SGC 2.5. You see there's some staining up top, but very well centered. Can never go wrong with a Mickey Mantle. This one's beautiful. The 1958 Topps All-Star Hank Aaron in an SGC 5.5. 1958 Topps All-Star Ted Williams in an SGC 1. But honestly, this looks so much better than a 1. I mean, if you really look, there's some creasing here, but I don't know. I can get past that. I can definitely get past that. It's Ted Williams. Come on, guys. Speaking of Ted Williams, we've got Slugger Supreme in a PSA 2. Again, all low grade. It's fine. Ted Kluszewski and Ted Williams. Can't go wrong with it. How about the 58 Topps Braves Fence Busters? This is Del Crandall, Eddie Matthews, my guy Hank Aaron, and Joe Adcock. It doesn't get much more iconic than this. The 58 Topps World Series Batting Foes in an SGC 3. Mickey Mantle and Hank Aaron. Beautiful card. And then rounding it out, the 58 Topps Hank Aaron in a PSA 3. I got this one maybe a month and a half ago. Love it. All right, so that is where I stand with the 54 Topps, the 56, the 57, and the 58. I know, some years are stronger than others. Especially, I'm very much lacking on 54 Topps, but it's a new undertaking, and we all don't have everything in our collection. If we did, we would stop collecting. But eventually, I do want to branch out to some of the other sets. Specifically, 1951 Bowman has always spiked my interest. The 53 Bowman Color. Both those sets really kind of speak to me. The artwork, the history. So I'm sure that's coming. But, hey, this is where I want to end the video by saying, if you have any duplicates from these sets, from the 54 Topps, the 56, the 57, the 58, that you're looking to unload, and I'm not looking for a handout. I'm happily buying. I'm very much interested in buying commons, semi-stars, even Hall of Famers, even if they're slabbed. This coming year is the year of binder building at JW's Dugout. Almost got my name wrong there. And so feel free to reach out. You leave a comment down below, or reach out to me either on Instagram. My email is in my About Me section of my channel. And I just before I wrap up, I also want to just say as far as what I'm using, I'm going with the BCW albums, and I also have the BCW laser weld 9 pocket pages. And then for the 1956 cards, the 1956 top set, the bigger ones, I've got them in the BCW laser weld 8 pocket sleeves. I find them clean, sturdy, and really perfect for vintage. But thanks for hanging out for this one. I know it's kind of a long one, and I just wanted to kind of give my thoughts in terms of what I'm working on from a set building perspective. Interested to hear if you guys are building out any sets, and if there's any that I can help you out with. I think we're all in this together. I'm definitely all ears if you guys do have any commons, any duplicates available. Happy to swing a deal, whether it's a trade or a straight purchase. And as always, I appreciate you guys stopping by the dugout, and we will catch you next time.